Some of you are going to read the title of this video and know exactly what I'm talking about, and some of you have read the title and are wondering how the hell do these things even compare. Well, I don't blame you, and in this short video we're going to be talking about how I feel about Ghost Recon Breakpoint versus Doom Eternal. Many of you know that Doom Eternal was delayed till March 2020, and the developers basically said that they wanted to delay the game to meet expectations for their product. They said that they wanted to make sure they were delivering the best experience possible, and so the delay was necessary. Shigeru Miyamoto said that a delayed game is eventually good, but a bad game is bad forever. I know some of you are going to say that, well, bad games have come out and then eventually were fixed by the developers post-launch, but some of those games just have never recovered. They've never gotten back the player base that they lost or neglected, and the game just permanently leaves a bad taste in everybody's mouth. I don't think you should treat a game that's improved itself as the same thing it was before it did, but you can't blame people for being cautious when a game bites them on the ass and then comes around later and says, hey, we're better now. It's like an abusive ex-lover. They come back saying they've changed, and whether they have or not remains to be seen. All you know is that they used to be an asshole. And even though Doom 2016 isn't my favorite game of all time, I heavily enjoyed it, and I look forward to Eternal just being better. I don't want Doom Eternal to be as good as Doom 2016. I want it to be better. Doom Eternal is not like a new Call of Duty game, you know, the same basic formula over and over again, but with important intrinsic differences that makes one preferable over the other to many different people. Games like Doom can't do incremental changes with annual releases. When there's several years in between one game to the next, you don't expect a same or similar experience. You should probably start expecting a better experience, within reason. You don't want to get your expectations too high, but it should be better. With Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it bummed me out that so many people were willing to defend Breakpoint by saying that some of the problems in Breakpoint were in Wildlands as well, and if we were okay with them in Wildlands, why can't we be okay with them again? The simple answer is, it's not Wildlands. It's 2 years after Wildlands came out. Even with Call of Duty, I don't really have a lot of tolerance for bugs that persist through multiple titles. Same with the Battlefield games. It's not that we were okay with it, it's that we kind of accepted it as the first time we ran into certain design oopsies. Those design oopsies 2 years later are a lot less cute, and they're more like, glaring design flaws. If Call of Duty Ghosts, being the first next-gen playable Call of Duty, just crashed all the time, we might, kind of accept it a little bit more because, it's a new game, it's on a new platform, it's gonna crash. But if Advanced Warfare did it, we'd become, of course, less okay with it. In Black Ops 3, we'd become less and less okay with it. And then all the way up to Modern Warfare 2019, if games are just still crashing mid-match all the time, it'd be years of it, right? Now, I'm not saying Breakpoint's doing anything as bad as just outright crashing all the time, but so many things were left unpolished, from graphical presentation, voice acting, animations, the quality of the NPCs and enemies in the game and how they react to you. My mistake was hoping that Breakpoint would be as good as Wildlands, but in a lot of ways, Breakpoint is as good as Wildlands with a bunch of unnecessary gimmicks tossed on top of it. Like I've said before, I don't consider the unmanned drones and tanks to be that bad, or the fictional setting, or the more cinematic story. I don't mind that. It's trying to push in this weird Division-style loot system that doesn't make any sense, and no Ghost Recon player was asking for, at least none of them that were in their right mind at the time. I'll say it again, Ghost Recon Wildlands was the game for people that didn't like the Division. It's for people that didn't want to play an RPG, but don't mind a few RPG-like elements like a skill tree and, leveling up. But Ubisoft didn't focus on the little things, the reload animations, the character animations, the overall presentation of the game. Aiming down sight, shooting your gun feels a little bit better, a little bit bassier, but it doesn't work as a massive improvement. And after 2 years, you would hope for less gimmicks and more substantial changes and fixes. Shifting the Ghost Recon game into being an open world, open experience like Wildlands was risky enough. Converting that experience into a looter shooter style experience is even more egregious to a lot of people, including myself. Ghost Recon open world, okay, I'm sold, but Ghost Recon looter shooter open world, you lost me. You super lost me. And if you're gonna tell me it doesn't matter, then I'm gonna ask you why is it in the game. I've harped on that enough, but I want to focus on the fact that the developers of Doom Eternal decided that their game needed to exceed expectations, or at least meet them. It needed to deliver the quality people were expecting. It needed to shake it up like it did in 2016, and I like the idea that the developers looked at their product and went, this is only okay. This could be a DLC for Doom 2016. It's not the successor. Doom 2016 brought the classic arena-style shooter from like the 90s into the modern era beautifully. Doom Eternal doesn't need to do that again. It's already been done. It needs to do something better. It needs to up the ante. More than just gimmicks. It needs substance. It needs something that makes it worth another $60 of yours, and needs to somehow justify the time between Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. That much development time can't go into, you know, oh, the graphics are a little nicer, the play space is bigger, and you have a grappling hook now. It needs to be more. Our expectations oftentimes are too high, but I think with Breakpoint, some people's were too low, myself included. I said that as long as I have as much fun as I did in Wildlands, that'd be great. Which isn't directly saying I hope it's exactly like Wildlands, I don't care, but I think my mentality should have been, I hope this improves on the areas that Wildlands failed in. Ghost Recon Breakpoint doesn't exceed expectations, it more accurately meets them and subverts them in the wrong way. And on top of everything I just said, the game launched in an unfinished, unpolished, buggy mess. Just watching YouTube videos of bug and glitch compilations, even after the beta was over, is just embarrassing. And the fact that I have people in my comment section telling me that the game is fine now, the beta was a completely different game, it's like, no, you're lying. I don't know why you're lying. I can just go look up a review and see that you're lying. But I feel like they're lying to themselves. I think so many people loved Wildlands conceptually, but knew its weaknesses and wanted those weaknesses to be reduced to nothing. But instead, those weaknesses were mostly left the same. There were some nice fixes, but the weaknesses were left the same. Wildly inconsistent animation quality, shitty AI, boring mission structure, bad stealth mechanics. When we saw the trailers for Breakpoint, I was excited for something more like Metal Gear. I thought it'd be more in-depth and deeper, with way more gadgets and interesting ways to take on bases and stealth my way or brute force my way through places. I thought it'd be more hardcore survival, more realistic in some ways and more fantastical in others, and after playing the beta and seeing all of the footage after launch, I think they should have delayed till March as well. I think they should have gone back to the drawing board, and I really respect Doom Eternal for doing that. I respect Doom Eternal for going, you know what, this doesn't meet our standards and it's not going to meet yours, we're delaying this. I think Ubisoft should have not panicked and genre shift Ghost Recon again, and I think they should have instead focused on what people liked about Wildlands and improved it. Improve it in small ways like reload animations, and in big ways like better stealth mechanics and AIs that don't feel like they're out of oblivion. So that's the end of this video. I just wanted to kind of make that clear that when I was sitting on the toilet and thinking about the fact that Doom Eternal is attempting to match the expectations of the community and the fan base, whereas Breakpoint just steered off into a different genre and left so many longtime fans behind. On top of being unpolished and buggy and just not feeling very AAA. At the same time, Call of Duty is doing a seismic shift in the franchise in terms of graphics and animations and sound quality and customization and overall depth and variety, and Ghost Recon somehow feels less grown-up than Call of Duty, and I don't really want to live in that world. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.